All right. Hey everyone, Nicole and Alyssa here with Blondes Breakdown Real Estate. Now, we now know how to hire the right agent to sell your home, but now we want to talk about getting your home ready to hit the market with staging. Now, Alyssa and I have both seen time and time again the benefits of staging. So we have brought on Kelly Kraus, the owner of Pure Design and Staging, to help walk us through the process. So without further ado, welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Kelly. We're super excited to have you. Give us a quick intro about you and your background, please.
Sure. Well, I've had Pure Design and Staging for about a year and a half, a little longer. Prior to that, I've been staging for about 10 years. Prior to that, I've been in the furniture business for about 20 years. I've owned, with my ex-husband, a few stores here in San Diego and the surrounding areas, and actually a few furniture stores. And so, yes, I've been staging for about 10 years because of the furniture stores. And now I found my stride. This is what I should be doing.
Love that.
Very cool. Well, when it comes to selling your home, do you have any statistics in terms of what staging does for a home selling quicker for more money?
I do. Usually when I talk about these statistics with sellers, I always explain that the sale of your house is a major transaction over the course of your lifetime. So you want to have every tool that you can possibly get marketing wise. And staging is a huge one. People don't realize it's not just about making homes look pretty. But I do have some numbers here. Sellers spend less than 1% on average for staging and can get up to 1,000% return on their investment, which I think is huge. Staged homes sell for 17% more on average than non-staged homes.
There you have it.
Another big one. Staged homes spend 73% less time on the market than an unstaged home. And all of those statistics are from realtor.com. Nice. Another compelling one is 95% of buyer's agents say that home staging has a positive effect on the home buyer's view and opinion of the property.
So I can definitely vouch for that.
Yes.
From our experience, I will say that that's 100% true.
Definitely. So Kelly, how do you get your home ready to be staged?
Well, it really depends. We stage two different types of homes: vacant homes and occupied homes. A vacant home is much easier to work with. Generally speaking, we recommend that the sellers paint all the interior walls a light neutral color if possible. We recommend of course, you know all these things about flooring and making repairs, but there are a lot of small cosmetic things that people can do, and I don't think they realize everything from switching out any plastic outlet covers, light switches, can lighting that has yellowed. It sends the message that the house has been neglected in like a subconscious way, and little things like that, everything to removing lawn ornaments from the outdoor areas. I tell people also, this is a big one, you want to make sure that any plants that you have outside in your landscaping, they should look like they're thriving. Anything else is not good. So we want to give the impression that everything in the home is doing well and it's alive and it's thriving. So that's definitely one that I pretty much across the board recommend to everyone. For occupied homes, it's a little tougher because people are living in the home while it's being shown, and of course with the staging, I generally go through and give them a list of items that we can use. So it varies depending on the circumstances of the listing, for sure.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of a common question that I always have when I go into these listing appointments is, if it is occupied, you guys will stage it?
We do. And in fact, at the beginning of the quarantine, we were hesitant, of course. It's only been the last month or so that we feel that it's safe. Of course, we have to discuss this with the family of the sellers, but we're very cautious. We take everyone's temperature, and we have a little forehead thing that we take everyone's temperature. We wear masks, we wear gloves. We're very conscious of keeping space in between us and working in different separate rooms. So it's definitely doable. And so I would say at least once a week, we do an occupied stage last month or so.
Okay.
Let
And
me
sorry, go ahead, Nicole.
I was just going to say, let me ask you a question off of that. With occupied homes, do you ever walk in to one of those homes and say, okay, we can use all of the furniture that you have here? You know, you've got some good stuff going on. It's just arranged not the right way. Or do you always say, we need to take all of your stuff out, put it in storage, and bring all of our furniture in?
Everything in between. It really depends. Our goal when we stage is it's not so much about having things look nice as it is how it pulls potential buyers through the home. And we kind of guide them. We want them to pause in the areas that are the stars of the show, so to speak. And so we definitely redo the layout. Making sure that when someone walks into a room, that the position of the furniture is pulling them in and drawing them into a room and having them stop or pause at one of those focal points of the home. It really varies greatly from home to home. There are some cases where we just do editing and we give them a special price for that as well. And everyone, of course, knows about taking down your personal photos and any awards and certificates and things like that. But we think a little bit of that is still good to keep in the home. We want to make sure if the home is occupied, that we're sensitive to the sellers, understanding that they're having to live their lives there every day. They need the things that everything from their coffee makers to access to the remote controls for the TVs and everything in between.
Can you touch a little bit on why you're supposed to take out your personal photos?
Well, I mean, the whole purpose of staging is to get any potential buyers to visualize themselves living in the home. And so it's a psychological barrier. It's just a constant reminder if someone's walking through a home and they see other photos that this is somebody else's house. So we want to create more of like a blank canvas. Another goal is we want to lighten and brighten the home, and we want it to seem very airy and spacious. We want to make sure that they right away get the impression that this house has a lot of storage.
Cool.
I love that. And okay, so back on the topic of occupied homes, because this is
Yes.
just always something that I run into as a listing agent, because most people do have to live in their home. Not a lot of people can afford to move out and then sell, which would be our preference, right? So when you're dealing with an occupied home, what do they do if we need to restage the whole thing because, you know, the people are just a little out of style and it's really cluttered? Do you guys have a solution for their stuff, or what do we do with their current stuff?
Really good question. I think that's pretty much across the board. Any beds that the family has, we have to keep. It's a security and safety issue, so that's really the only exception. Other than that, it varies greatly. I mean, some homes we will utilize a lot of the seller's furnishings, and we might put what we're not using in the garage. Others have quite a bit, and in those cases we do recommend a storage pod. That is a really good solution because we're able to help the sellers put their furnishings in the storage pod. We can make arrangements to have that come picked up. And honestly, the way I look at occupied stages is this is an opportunity for them to, when they start packing things up and when they start going through the editing process themselves, it almost acts as an impetus that they need to get to the next step. So it's sending a message
Like,
to
get ready.
us that this is really happening. So it's definitely a good exercise for the home owners to go through.
I like that. I was going to ask you, what costs are typically associated with staging? Is there a daily fee? Do you guys take one lump sum for, a period of time? How does that work?
Good question. And every stager is different. How we have it set up is the staging fee is for a time period of, on average, 90 days. So the staging fee that they pay is the use of all the furnishings that we bring in for 90 days. If for some reason the home has not sold and they wish to have the staging stay, we charge a percent. Then it's anywhere from 10 to 25%, and that percentage is of the staging fee. So we call that then going into rental. So basically they're renting the staging from us on a monthly basis after that initial time period.
And we hope a house doesn't sit on the market for 90 days.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm working with someone now, and we had a conversation yesterday. There were 3 of us talking, and they kept saying, well, in case it doesn't sell. And I said, okay, hold on. hold on. We're not even going to put that out there.
Yeah, whoa. 90 days is a long time.
Exactly.
Kind of on that, at what point do you guys remove the furniture? When the offer is accepted, when contingencies are removed?
Usually it's when contingencies are removed. So it falls in between that time period of when contingencies are removed and when the home actually, the sale is closed, the day of the closing. So any time within that window.
So, when furniture is moved in and out of homes, sometimes walls get scratched or floors get scratched or there's dust that's left over. Do you guys have any kind of like a cleaning service that comes in after, or is that just, the responsibility of the seller to know, hey, we've had staging, furniture come in and out. We need to get this house ready for the buyer.
Our eye for detail is ridiculous. So when we remove staging from a home, we patch every nail hole that we may have put in the wall for hanging art. If they have touch-up paint, we'll even touch up the little speckled area. We go through, we want to leave the house in better condition than when we first came. And that's really important to us.
Okay. Now back to a quick question on the fee side of things. Can you pay the staging company through the sale, like through escrow, or does that have to come up front?
There are some staging companies that will offer that as an option. And usually it affects the cost of the staging, the price of the staging. What we do is, in some cases, we can lower the cost of the staging and then have a fee toward the end. We don't do it very often. That's a tough one, because in some cases we'll have $20,000 to $30,000 worth of inventory in a home, and so we can't really have it in a home indefinitely. So for us, we do have those parameters, and so we're not able to actually schedule a stage until the staging fee is paid up front, and we start beginning a design plan and start ordering product from the moment they sign the contract.
Gotcha. So I'm the seller. I meet with you. I'm getting ready to sell my home. I've got an agent. We're going live in 30 days. What happens next?
So the initial visit really on average takes about 30 minutes, and we don't charge for that fee, or we don't charge for doing that. We come out to a home. It takes, after introductions, usually about 20 minutes. I go through, I take a ton of photos, I take a ton of notes. After that, and there's no charge for that. After that, we put together a proposal giving the home seller a lot of different options, everything from a partial stage to an absolute full stage, and anything in between. We also have some a la carte type of options. So once the proposal goes out, they decide which option they'd like to have. We send out a contract and we get a date, and it all goes from there. That process, I've done that whole process from beginning to end in one day before. And then some people, we just go at the pace that people need.
Okay. Melissa, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. So just some advice on if somebody is kind of interested in staging and just kind of trying to decide whether it's worth it or if they need to just rearrange the stuff in their home. What are some quick tips that you can give to people who think that their house is really decorated nice, but want to make sure that it's, you know, ready to list and ready to get top dollar?
The first thing, and I have told people this before, I think it's really important to have the interior painted if there are dark colors. There's been different trends throughout the years where different walls are painted different colors and dark colors, and it might be a great trend interior design wise, but for the purpose of selling a home, we want there to be a lot of light reflecting around in the house. So I would say that that's priority number one. After that, we talked about photos and certificates and awards and things like that. And we even go into that because we feel like it can be intimidating to some people. And if they go into a house and there are, you know, Ivy League degrees on the walls. But overall, and it's interesting because I'm guilty of it. I think really everyone is. We get used to our homes being the way they are because we have it set up for convenience and for it to look nice. And we really are creating a space for the buyers. And so we can coach a seller. It's really about, as I mentioned earlier, the flow of the house. More so than not, we recommend that they get rid of dark colored furniture, dark area rugs, dark colored art. We make sure that there's good lighting in every room. Those are all steps that a seller could take to kind of
brighten, open, all of that.
Prime their house a little bit before we even come into the picture.
Yeah, I love that. I know I had another one too. Oh, I know. So obviously when a home's listed for sale, especially if it's vacant, we can't control everyone that's going in and showing those houses and bringing their 3-year-olds with sticky fingers along. What happens if, you know, somebody who's viewing the home damages or spills something on your guys' staged furniture?
Well, first of all, when I got into this business, I thought it would happen a lot more than it does. I mean, over the 10 years, I think we've had issues maybe 3 times. The selling agents are really good about keeping the house pristine and you know, they go in and they keep an eye on things. There's only been one case where we had like this little clock about this big that someone swiped. It doesn't happen very often. We've had a couple cases where the family had toddlers and it was an occupied stage, and they wrote on some expensive pillows and things like that. But with occupied stages, we do take a security deposit. And in the event, and that's in our contract, and we go through that and we explain it to the sellers that outside of everyday normal wear and tear use, anything will be deducted from their security deposit. And again, we've only had to do that maybe 3 times over all these years. Surprising.
Fair enough. Had to ask because I wondered it.
So any other questions for Kelly, Alyssa?
I think that's all I've got. I can attest to how important it is to have the home staged well, and because the way people search for homes now is they put in their filters into a criteria, a list of homes pop up, and they go straight for the pictures. And if the pictures don't look amazing and well staged and the home doesn't look bright, open, clean, all of those things, they just go to the next one and they'll never come back and look at you again. So thank you so much, Kelly. I think that everything that you're saying holds so true. We see it on our end all the time.
Now, how can we get a hold of you, or how can we know how to get a hold of you, but how can our viewers get a hold of you, Kelly?
Sure. Well, our website online is puredesignandstaging.com with and spelled out. Phone number is 619-871-8508. And of course, we have Instagram and Facebook sites as well.
Awesome. And you guys are working through COVID. You're taking all the
Absolutely.
things that you need to be doing seriously and keeping everybody healthy and safe. So we really hope that you guys have all enjoyed this video. We learned a lot. We hope you guys did too. Please reach out to us or to Kelly directly. And if you have any other questions about staging, we will definitely get those answered for you. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we've got some more great videos coming your way soon. Thanks so much, Kelly, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.